Dear friends in Jesus Christ, greetings to you all. On this ordinary season, 32nd Sunday of this Wednesday, today we have one first reading, one gospel coming to you as a good news, not only to you, to everybody. Let me explain to you the background of today's first reading and today's gospel, then we can go for the application. In the gospel, we see the 10 people, 10 lepers coming to Jesus Christ. Now I would like to narrate to you what is that happening in that entire scenario. Let me tell you, then we can go for the application. So what happens is the 10 people, 10 lepers are coming in far away, and Jesus is standing there, and they are raising their voice. And that time, what is leprosy is this one. Even the smallest skin disease or skin rashes also considered as a leprosy, and they were kept aside from the community for 7 days minimum. And then it depends upon who examines that one. A priest of Aaronic tradition, he will be examining the what is that called sickness, or how many days it must be kept away. All those things, they have the procedures to follow, that will be followed. Until then, when the person is accepted back to the community, they have to stand away from the religion of their living. That's why as Jesus is walking through edges of their territory, there they are coming and raising their voice. And it is the way they have to speak to the other people. They have to cover their upper lips. Like this, they have to cover, and they have to make a noise. I am a leper coming, I am a leper coming. Like that, they have to make a noise louder. Then only the other people, whoever listen that one, they will give away and they won't come near to them, because they considered leprosy as a contagious disease at that time. Okay, not these days, at that time. That's why they were standing far away. Jesus is one place, they are standing far away and making their request. First scenario. Second one is, they are raising their request to Jesus Christ, and Jesus is saying, go and do likewise, which means raising request to and listening to Jesus' words means they are listening the word of God. They are dealing with the word of God, and the result will be effected as soon as it's possible. And they'll now listen to the word of God, and Jesus is telling them, go and show to the priest, which means Jesus is allowing them to follow the tradition. We may see, Jesus is a liberty person, he is an anti-traditional person, and he is not at all for the following the tradition and so on. No, he follows the tradition 100% without any discrimination, without any delay of a second thinking of following the tradition. That's why he is sending them to follow the tradition, and as they are going, priest will examine what is that, what is this, and so on. Once priest is finding no fault on their skin, they once again will be accepted back to the community, and they will live with their family happily. That's the procedure, and Jesus is following the procedure, allowing them to follow the procedure also. That's what happening. But a superb thing is happening here. 10 came and 10 listened the word of God, and as they are going, they all yield. But only one is coming back and praising God, saying thanks to Jesus Christ. This is what today the Gospel's explanation. What is the meaning of leprosy? How a leper has to conduct himself, how he has to be set apart, how he has to accept it back to community. All those things I have explained to you based on the Gospel. Now let us go to today's first reading. Today's first reading from the book of Wisdom. Superb book, nice book, which I enjoyed a lot, because as soon as I read today's first phrase itself, it's mostly similar to the tradition of my culture, where we always celebrate the children, which means as I address the child, we will be always addressing like this. I would like to tell you in my own language how we celebrate the children, which means Raja, which means my king. Chellakutti, my special, Pattukutti, costliest dress, Pattukutti, like that we will be celebrating. When we are celebrating the girl child, Maharani, great queen, Ennuடைய இளவரசி, princess, like that we will be celebrating the children. That's what we also address the words towards the children. Same words are addressed in today's first reading, first part, kings, mighty people, rulers, like that they are addressing. So when I was hearing that one, I was just thinking that God the Father as a father addressing his entire children as a loving children and so on. But as the course of reading going on, this is not only a father lovingly spoken words, this is also a cautioning words, because at that time when this book was written, that moment, previously Egypt was the great king and they had mighty powers. Later Babylonians, later Assyrians, later Greeks, entire people, they are situated, which means still situated here. Egypt, Babylonian, Assyrian, Greeks, all these are close by, very close by, and they are seeing, these people are seeing, and they all dominated them, enslaved them, they overruled them. Also to them this prophet is writing, or this word of God is addressing them, you rulers and so on. This is also applicable. And those people did not listen the word of God and they did what they want. And later when things are coming up, or when God is coming up in his own authority, he will be asking them, I gave you the authority, I gave you the ownership to these people, but what did you do? That's what God will ask them. That's the explanation of the first reading. Now let us come to our practical application. Okay, in the gospel, leprosy, they listened the word of God, they followed the word of God, they got healed, he thanked. When I come here, this is the gospel, the physical leprosy. When I come here, the spiritual leprosy. We are special, each one, the baptized, whoever is Christian is a king, queen, prince, princess, high, mighty people, high level we are kept. God is also calling them God's kings. Only this way God is also addressing us. That is the stage for us. Accordingly, we must have our soul also, but what we did is we failed. The spiritual leprosy, soul in leprosy is coming up. Now what we have to do? We have to listen the word of God. We have to act accordingly. If we are not listening the word of God and we are not acting accordingly, then we will be having the leprosy of the spiritual, leprosy of the soul. So listen the word of God, get rid of the spiritual or physical leprosy, and be happy with the people of God, with the God. That's what today the gospel, the first reading is inviting us. Am I having anything spiritually difficulty to listen the word of God and act accordingly and get healed and come back to thank? Is there anything hindrance? Obviously no. Only our laziness, only our self-centeredness, only our likeness of a worldly pleasure will be the hindrance, most hindrance. So now church is inviting you, word of God is inviting you, come back, get healed, say thanks to God. Are you ready? Rise, go up your way, and your faith has made you well.